that in today's class I will be solving the question paper. In the last few classes on Zoom that we have taken, I have finished the third module. I hope everybody is comfortable with that. If you have any doubts in that, you can please revert back to me. But we have taken enough time, we have solved enough examples, and we have done the third module. Now today what I plan to do is I'm not going to start with the fourth module. First I will refer to some of the VTU question papers. I will open some question papers and we will solve all the questions that has appeared from module number 3. Okay, module number 3, what all questions have been asked in the previous year's question papers, that we will try to solve it today. So I will first share my screen and then I will try to open this question papers. I have question papers from Jan 2019 and July 2019. I have these two question papers with me, Jan 2019 and July 2019. I will first open January 2019 and we will try to solve the questions from module number 3. Okay, we will try to solve questions from module number 3. So if you are able to see this, what is there in my screen right now, okay, here it's a scanned copy, so the questions are not very clear, but I will read it out for you people. I'll just try to make it a little more big so that it is, I hope this is clear enough. Okay, this is module number 3. We will try to solve questions from 2 question papers because I have only 2 of the previous years. Okay, I think I don't have only 1 question paper, that is of the last semester which took place, but I have it of the previous year. So this is, I think, sufficient. So now this is module number 3. The first question, and you know that what did we study in module number 3? We have studied about lists, then we studied about dictionaries, then tuples, and then regular expressions. These are the major 4 chapters or concepts that we have studied in the last classes. So the first question is, describe any 2 list operations and methods. Write a program to accept n numbers from the user, find the sum of all even numbers and product of all the odd numbers in the entered list. Okay, now this is a program in which we have to read numbers from the user in a list, and then we have to find the sum. We have to find the sum of all the even numbers and product of the odd numbers. For example, if my list contains, like I said, 2, 4, 1, 3. If my list contains 4 digits or 4 numbers that we have entered in the list is 2, 4, 1, and 3. 2 and 4 are even numbers, 1 and 3 are odd numbers. So what should be the output of the program is, it should add all the even numbers and it should display the result, and it should do the product of the odd numbers and display the result. So if 2, 4, 1, 3 are the elements of the list, the output should be 2 plus 4 is 6 because it has to add even numbers, and it has to do 3 into 1, product of odd numbers. 3 and 1 are the odd numbers, so it should multiply them and it should add the even numbers. So the output should be 6 and 3. Why 6? Because 4 plus 2 and 3 into 1. So it should be 6 and 3 as the output. So that is the program that we have to write here. Okay, what it says is, first of all, you have to describe any 2 list operations and list methods. Like I have already been telling you that in list, they will ask you to explain any 2 built-in methods and all that. Which are the 2 operations that will perform in list? The 2 operations that will perform in list is the concatenation operator using the plus sign and then the star to do repetition. I have told you that. So please remember that. These are the operations. And which are the methods? Different types of methods are there. So many are there. Okay, we have append, we have pop, we have push, we have remove, we have sort. So many are there. You can explain any 2 from that, no problem. And then you have to write the program. The program is very simple. Write a program to accept n numbers from the user and then find the sum of all the even numbers and product. Let us immediately write this program now. I want to write this program and show it to you so that you people can immediately follow it down. So to write the program, I will write the program now. So you please follow what I've written. Okay. So first of all, what this says, read n numbers. So we will print to the user. Just follow this. Right now, you just go through what I am writing, and then later on I will explain you the logic of this program. It's quite simple. You will understand as and when I'm typing it. Please enter how many numbers. Okay, why do I print this? I can simply do this now. I can do n is equals to input. I am going to read. I'm going to read how many numbers. For example, let us say he wants to enter in the list. He wants to enter 8 numbers, or 4 numbers, or 10 numbers. First, let us read how many numbers he wants to enter into the list. So please enter how many numbers. So that will come into n. N will contain either 4 or 8. Now we have to have a loop. We have to have a loop. While then I will do one thing. I will write x is equals to n. So whatever is there in n, I will put it into a variable x, and then I'll say while x is greater than 0. Why do I do this? Is because I want to read n numbers. So I take a while loop to read those many numbers, and then I want to put it into a list. I want to put it into a list. So I define the list ls L1. Let us say the name of the list is L1. Let us say the name of the list is L1, and I want to read this list. So L1 of I is equals to 0, while I is less than n. Yeah, this will be better. This will be better. I have to read n numbers, so I initialize I to 0, and then I say while I is less than n. N will be the number of elements that I want to enter into the list. It will be 4, it will be 8. How many numbers should be there in the list? That is to be decided by the user. So he enters, I want to enter 8 numbers. So I initialize I to 0, and then while I is less than n, I do this. L of I, okay, L of I is equals to input enter number. Okay, so whatever is entered will go into LFI, and this will happen how many times, and then I have to increment the value of I is equals to I plus 1. I have to increment the value of I because it has to finally reach n. What we are doing is we are writing a program to read a list of numbers from the user, and we are going to find the sum of all even numbers and product of all odd numbers. So first we have to read the list from the user. So this procedure that I'm writing right now is to read n number of items from the user, and I'm putting it into the list. The name of the list is L1. The name of the list is L1. Okay. Now let us go further quickly. Let us not waste much time. A lot of questions has to be solved. So after this entire thing, what I've written so far, will read n numbers from the user, and it will put it into the list. Once I have the list is completely there in L1 now. So what I will do is I will simply print. I will simply print L1 first. Okay, for our reference, it is not required, but for our reference, for you people to understand. Just hang on, please. Okay, now for our reference, I will just display the value of display the list. Okay, I will display the list, and then after that, I will write the logic. I will write the logic to find the sum of all the even numbers and product of all the odd numbers. So I will write sum is equals to 0 and product is equals to 0. I will declare two variables and I will initialize it to 0. Sum I will initialize it to 0 and product I will initialize it to 1. Okay, why? Because I'm doing the product here. If I keep multiplying everything with product, what will happen is, if it is initialized to 0, then everything will be 0 only. So that's why product should be equals to 1. Now I take a loop for x, for any variable you can take, for a in L1. You know what? Why do we use a for loop? To iterate through all the elements of the list. To iterate through all the elements of the list, we use the for loop for a in L1. Now a will contain all the elements in the list till all the elements are over. Okay, I'll check if a mod 2, if it is equals to 0. What does it mean? If a mod 2 is equals to 0 means it is an even number. If the remainder of the number divided by 2, if it is equals to 0, then it means it is an even number. So I have to sum this. So I have to write sum is equals to sum plus a. I have to write sum is equals to sum plus a. Else, when will the else block get executed? The else block will get executed when the remainder is not equals to 0. The remainder is not equals to 0, the else block will get executed. If a mod 2 is equals to 0, which means that a is an even number added to the sum, else product is equals to, it means that it is a odd number. The else block will get executed if it is a odd number. The else block will get executed if it is an odd number. So in that case, you do product is equals to product star A. That's it. So this is the end of my program. That's it. And then finally, at the end of this for loop, what I will get is in sum, I will get the sum of all even numbers. I will get the all the even numbers, and in the product, I will get the product of all the odd numbers. Then I will display print sum of even numbers sum of all even numbers. Sum of even numbers is sum, and similarly, I can display the product. Product of odd numbers is equals to product. That's it. So this is my program. This is my complete program. If you want to take a screenshot of this, you can take immediately now because it is a complete program. And what I have done here is I have taken a loop. First of all, I've read the elements of the list. Then I have initialized sum as 0 and product as 1. And then I've iterated through all the elements of the, list. And then finally, I have checked if that A mod 2 is equals to 0. If it is so, then I've added it to the sum. If it is an even odd number, then I've multiplied it with the product. And then finally, I've displayed it. Let us save this program. File, save, and then I will save it as you know into the D drive. Then here I will save the file as exam1.py. Okay, exam1.py. Okay, remember that name. I go to my command prompt. And in the command prompt I will execute this. I will go to the D drive, cd mmec python, and then I will write python exam1.py. Enter. Okay, first it is asking me, please enter how many numbers. I will say I will enter some 5 numbers. I want to enter 5 numbers in my list. So it says cannot support integer to string, all that. Yeah, because when I enter n, when I enter n like this, when I read it from the keyboard, n will be treated as, remember, n will be treated as a string. So I have to convert that string into n is equals to int. No, I cannot have that same thing. I can have it like this. Here only int of n, because n, whatever I enter, even if I enter 6, it will be in double quotes, means it will be a string. I have to convert that string into an integer, so I have to write this int into bracket n. So that's why it is saying that I cannot compare an integer with a string. The problem is that was a problem. So I'll save it here, and now let us see what will happen. So I'll clear the screen, execute the program once again. Just hang on, only 1 minute. Hang on. Hello. Yeah. No. Yeah. So now, yeah, enter how many numbers. I will say I want only 5 numbers right now, and then enter the first number it will ask me. Okay, fine. I will enter a 3. Okay. Now remember, 3 is a odd number. Enter. Oh my God. Again, there is a problem. It says name L1 is not defined. Now what has happened is I'm trying to add something to that list, and then the list is not defined. I will define that list here. I will write L1 is equals to uh, empty list. Can I define it like this? Okay, I think I can define it like this. No problem. So I've defined that list because it gave me an error saying that L1 is not defined. I'll clear the screen, execute this program once again. How many numbers? I'll say 5. Enter the first number. I'll say 3. List assignment index out of range. You know what has happened? The problem is that I'm defining a list here, but the number of items is not defined. But when I'm trying to add more elements to it, the size of the list is not known. So that's why I have to now use the append instead of L of I have to do L dot append and the append. I have to do A dot append input the number. I think instead of doing that, I think we can do this. Because frankly speaking, I did not test all these programs. I'm doing it right away. Yeah, now it is working. So what I did was instead of, because you know that append function, using append function, I can add more elements to the list. Initially, when I define my list here, I'm saying that it is empty. And then later on, if I try to say that to add the first element, this second element, I get given error. So I cannot do that. I have to keep appending. I have to keep adding new elements to the list. So that's why we have to use as and when you read an element from the user, as and when you read an element from the user, you have to append it to the list. You cannot simply add it to the list. You have to append it to the list. So that is what I did now. Okay, I said that I have 5 elements in my list. It asked me enter the number. I said 3. Second number 2. Third number I'll say 5. Then again I'll say 4. And then I will say 1. Again, there is a problem. It says not all arguments converted during the string formatting. So now A, okay, int of A I will write. Int of A. Again, here it is a string. When I'm reading it, it is a string. So I have to convert that into an integer. So that A is an integer. So I save the program, clear the screen, execute 5. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, there is an error. Unsupported operand plus integer and string. Again, it says there is a problem here. So there is an A there also, no? So I have to write that int. Hopefully now it will work. What I did was I converted wherever there was an A, I first converted that to integer and then I added that to sum and put it here. Now it will hopefully work. Okay, let's execute the how many numbers? I'll say 5. First number 2, second number 6, third number 3, fourth number 5, and 4. Okay, now these are the numbers 2, 6, 3, 5, and 4. Enter. So first it displayed me. You can see that it displayed me the elements of the list 2, 6, 3, 5, and 4, and then sum of even numbers 12. Is it 12? Even numbers are 6, 2, and 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. Correct? And then product of odd numbers. Odd numbers, how many I have? I have 2 odd numbers, 3 and 5. 5 is a 15. Correct. The product of the odd numbers is 15. See, the output is correct. And which is the program? The program is this one. This is the program. This is the complete program. So please take a screenshot of this. This is the program which has appeared in the examination and you have to write this. It's a very simple program. First read how many numbers you have and then read all the numbers individually into a list, keep appending it, and then find the sum, take a for loop. In the for loop, take each element of the list, check if it is even. If it is even, add it to sum. If it is odd, multiply it with product. That's it. Very simple program. And since I have to execute the program and show to you, I took all this pain, converted string to integer. But if you write, even if you have not written this integer here, which I did corrections later on, even if you forget to write this in the examination, remember in the examination, they will not type the program and check the output. Nobody will type the program and check the output. They will not have so much time. Even if you have done some small mistake here and there, they will still give you full marks. Believe me on this, they will still give you full marks. Whenever they will ask you to write programs in examination, marks is not for the complete program. There are marks for the steps. Even if you don't understand the logic of the program, start writing the program at least. Display the first, please enter how many numbers. Read the numbers. At least that much if you write, you will get 2-3 marks. If the question is asked for 6 marks, even if you start writing the program, initialization, done, 1 mark. Appropriate message display, marks are there, so you get 2 marks. Even if you don't write the logic of the program, for initialization, for displaying appropriate messages, you will get 1 or 2 marks there. So I recommend very strongly to everybody to attempt the programs. Don't leave any programs. And some small minor things will be there here and there. Even if you don't write that, if the logic is correct, they will give you full marks. They will not execute the program and see, this is not your lab. This is not your lab, this is only theory. They will see the program. If everything is fine, even if, let us say, you have skipped to write this integer, conversion from string to integer, if you have skipped this, all this cannot be checked in examination. At the moment they see, okay, fine, this guy is doing it properly, he's taking A, he's adding it to sum, he's taking A, if it is odd number, he's multiplying a product. Immediately, by looking only this logic, they will give you full marks. Okay, so don't worry much about the program. It should be correct only. It should get executed only. Don't worry, because it is not your lab. It is your theory. So attempt the question. That is important. Okay, so we have solved this program. Now we will go to the next one. Let us go to the next program. So the first one is done. It is for 8 marks. See, the question is for 8 marks. You have to just list some operations that you perform on list, plus and multiplication, and then list methods, append, pop, push. This you can explain, and then you can write this program. Okay, you get full 8 marks. Next question is list merits of dictionaries over list. Write a program, Python program to accept. This is important. Write a Python program to accept USN and marks obtained. Write a Python program to accept USN and marks obtained. Find maximum, minimum, and students USN who have scored in the range of 100 to 85, 85 to 75, 75 to 60, and below 60 separately. Now what we have to do, first of all, you have to explain the merits of dictionaries over list. This you will be able to do only when you have understood the concepts of a dictionary and a list. Right away, what I remember from a list and a dictionary is that in a list, there are a few things that I will not be able to do compared to a dictionary. In a dictionary, remember that if I want to access elements of a dictionary, I have to use a key. I have to use a key, and that key can be a string. Whereas in a list, always if I have to access an element, I have to use an integer index. But in a dictionary, you know that I can use a key. The key can be a string. So that's why dictionaries provide us an extra step of sophistication. It's more better compared to list. Why? Because here we can perform something called as systematic counting. Systematic counting we can do. You remember we have done one application of dictionaries where we counted the number of alphabets. We counted the number of alphabets in a string. We counted the number of words in a text file. We did that using dictionaries. That would not be possible by a list. So dictionaries provide you an extra advantage of counting strings, counting characters in a string, counting words in a file. This is not possible in list. So that merit you can write down. Okay, and then see, this is from my perspective. This is the advantage that I saw from my perspective. From your perspective, if you see some advantage of a dictionary compared to a list, you can better write that, no problem. And please attempt, write something there. Don't leave the question blank. Now you know what is the meaning of dictionary, you know what is the meaning of list, so you can write at least something. Okay, so the one merit that I saw is dictionaries, you can perform counting of characters and words in a file very efficiently compared to a list. Okay, now for the second part of the question, write a Python program to accept a USN number and marks obtained, and then find the maximum and minimum students, all that. Okay, now what is this? What is the meaning of this question is, I have to enter into the program the USN numbers. Let us say if my USN number is 2mm100. Okay, this is the first USN number. Then I have to enter how much percentage of marks this guy has scored, 67. Then 2mm200. This is the second guy. Okay, let us say this guy has entered 89. Then third, I have to enter. Okay, 2mm300. Okay, then let us say this guy has scored something like 45 only. Then 2mm400. This is the USN number of the fourth student. And let us say this guy has scored something like 74. Okay. Now what we have to first enter these details into the program. We have to enter what the program says is we have to write a program to accept USN numbers and marks obtained, and then in that list we have to first display which is the maximum marks, which USN number has secured the maximum marks. which USA number has secured the minimum marks. Then we have to display the USA numbers of all the students who have scored in the range of 100 to 85. Whoever has scored between 100 to 85, if you go here and see who are the students who have scored between 100 to 85, it is only 200. Okay, so like this we have to display, the list of all the USN numbers who have scored the marks in the range of 100 to 85, 85 to 75, 75 to 60, and then less than 60. We have to write this program, another 8 marks program. This is 8 marks question, very easy. Okay, you have to just understand the question and then start writing the program. Initially, see, now I have only read the question, I don't know what program I have to write. Okay, I don't know really what program I have to write, so I will now start writing the program. I still don't know. Simply, when you start writing the program, you will understand. Don't get scared initially only. I have to write a program, I don't know the logic and all that. Try to understand the question first and then write the program. Now, let us write the program. First of all, what we have to read USN numbers and the marks they have scored. But we don't know for how many students. So we can write the same logic that we have used in the last example. Okay. So I will write here. N is equals to input how many students. So I read this in N, and then I initialize I, then I take a while for I is less than integer of N. Okay, we have to read the USN number. Oh my God, last 10 minutes remaining only. Okay, so I will write this quickly and then let us see if we are able to complete this program. Otherwise, I will continue in the next class. There, I will first only write the programs and then I will directly show you the programs. I will keep it ready. Okay, so I'll try to finish this in 10 minutes. Let us see if it is possible. So I do this. I have to read this and I have to add it to the dictionary. So define a dictionary here. I can define the dictionary like this. D dot append. I don't know whether we have this or no. This program is going to take a little time, okay, but the concept is simple. It's just that I'm not able to remember the functions that I have to use here. The program is very simple. What I will do is I will type this program and then we'll keep it ready. All the programs which has appeared in the 2 question papers, I will type the programs, all of them, and we'll keep it ready. In the next class, I will show you the demonstration of these programs. Meanwhile, the theory questions at least which are there, we can solve that. So this is that one thing, this program we have to do. And then if I go to the next part of this question, that is question number 6. Compare and contrast tuples with lists. First of all, you have to difference and similarities between a tuple and a list. You have to do this. Similarities and the differences between a list and a tuple. What is the difference? What is the similarity between a list and a tuple? They are both collection of elements. Both can have elements of any data type. These are the, and one more is that to access elements of tuples and lists, we use integer index. These are the similarities. Now, what are the difference? Only one difference is there, major difference. Thing is that lists are mutable. Correct. Lists are mutable. That is right. And tuples are immutable. You cannot change the value of. Yeah, correct. Tuples are immutable. So these are the differences and this. And then later on, how do we perform the sum of 2 tuples? That the thing I've given you, it is there. How to slice operate? How to use the slicing operators on tuples? We have seen that. Then assignments to variables, multiple assignments we have seen on one side. On the left hand side of the tuple, I can write down multiple variables is equals to, then on the right hand side, I can write a tuple. So it will assign the number of values into the variables. So that is called as assignments to variables. Okay. Then we have seen slicing operator. We can use slicing operator both on the lists also and on tuples also. We can slice starting from the second element containing 3 elements like that. We can slice and we can do that. So this is also asked for 8 marks. This is all there in the notes. Okay, so please go through this, try to solve the question papers. Then after that, the next question is explain. Now this question is based on regular expressions. Explain Explain extracting data using regular expressions. What is a regular expression? A regular expression is a concept in which we can search for a particular pattern in a mainstream. We can search for a particular pattern in the mainstream. Okay, and once we have done that, then we can display that line, or we can do anything. Now they have asked you to write a program, implement a Python program to find lines having @ having an @ symbol, email ID. It should be an email ID between the characters in a read text file. So we have to read a text file and we have to go through line by line, and then we have to display that line which contains an @ symbol. This is a very simple program. I think we have already done this in the last class. Okay, the program is already there. We have to open a text file, we have to read the text file, and then we have to display that line which contains an @ symbol. This has to be done using regular expressions. So we can do a search function is there, then we have find all function is there, all that is there. So we can use any one of those functions and we can write this program. I remember we have written this program using the find function. So RE is regular expression, dot find into bracket, you have to write down what pattern you want to search, comma, the line. So if it is present, then we can display that line. So this program is also there. It is simple. It is asked for 8 marks. Remember, it is asked for 8 marks. Okay, it is asked for 8 marks. The last 5 minutes remaining, I'll just go to the next question paper. There I will try to search, solve the theory questions. And then programs which has been asked, I will type that and keep it ready so that next class I can directly open that file, execute and demonstrate instead of I typing here, debugging the errors and all that. Okay, so I will close this question paper. This module number 3 is done, and more or less we are confident we will be able to do some questions here. Okay, so I'll close this file. I will open the next file, that is July 2019. Here, if I go to module number 3, okay, I will try to make this a little big. This is good enough. So I have module number 3 here. First question is, what are the ways to traverse a list? Explain with the help of for each. Which are the different ways to traverse a list? The best way to traverse a list is using the for each loop. For each loop we can use to traverse through the list. If I have declared a list, if I want to traverse through the list, extracting one element at a time, I write for n in list colon I put, and then inside that I extract each element which will come into n. It will come into n, and then I can use this n to find the sum of the numbers, or I can find minimum, maximum, all that I can do. Okay, so the best way to traverse a list is by using the for each loop. And they have asked you to write some example in which you demonstrate for each loop. So you can define a list on the top. Then if you want to find the sum of all the elements, you take for n in list, then sum is equal to sum plus n, finally display sum. That's simple. 4 lines of program is sufficient, and the question is asked only for 4 marks. So you will get full marks here, no problem. Then the next question here is differentiate between pop and remove methods of list. Pop method will remove. Does anybody remember the difference between pop and remove? Pop will remove element from the starting, and remove will remove the element from the right hand. Hello. Yeah. Now I received a question. I received an answer from Akshata. She said that remove is used with an index to delete an element, whereas pop will delete always the first element from the list. Yeah, that is correct. That is absolutely right. Okay, so that is the difference between a remove and a pop. So please, you have to be well versed with. You have to be well versed with the functions, the methods, so that you answer them properly. Okay, so the difference between remove and pop is remove takes an index from a particular place. You want to remove an element, you can do that. Okay, whereas a pop will remove from the left hand side. How to delete more elements from an element? We can take a for loop. We can delete. How to delete more than one element from a list? How do we remove? Then we can use the del operator. Okay, we can use the del operator, or we can use a for loop. If you want to remove multiple elements from a, you can take a for loop and then you can delete multiple elements. Okay. Next is after that, write a Python program that accepts a sentence, okay, that accepts a sentence and build dictionary with letters. Okay, now this is a very interesting program. You have to build a dictionary that I will write this program and I will show it to you. If I enter a string like VTU at 123.learning, it should count how many letters are there. It should count how many digits are there, how many uppercase letters are there, and how many lowercase letters are there. A very, very interesting program. Okay. So we have to accept one string from the user, and then in that string, how many uppercase letters are there, how many lowercase letters are there, how many digits are there, how many total letters are there, that has to be counted. This program also I will write. So you can see that these programs are asked for 4 marks, 6 marks, and these are very simple programs. And I told you, you have to attempt. You have to attempt